Hello, I'm back. After almost 4 weeks, I've disappeared with my wife to the other side of the planet. And we celebrated the full 15 days of Chinese New Year in her home country. So here's a little bit of what we saw. Well, that was it. We saw Chinese New Year celebrated with vigor for 15 days. Um, so I am back, and we're going to start doing some more uh, work with Lazarus and Free Pascal to write graphical user interface stuff. So I thought you would maybe enjoy a little bit of that. I know I did when I was there. So let's get back to it, shall we? Okay, so this is our application that we've been working on. And it's a series of units and forms that is kind of the starting point of how you would start developing an application that uses a login screen, has some I guess they're debatable security features. Requires a user to sign in with a user ID and password. It has the functionality to allow administrators to set up users, and it allows users to change their own password, that sort of thing. So it's kind of fleshing out the beginnings of building an application that has many different functions. And so I've shown how to create the various forms and how to integrate them together in what might be an application. We did a little bit of random file I/O. We needed that to store the user IDs and the user information. And I've been thinking about this is what I've been thinking is why continue developing this into some kind of application? Because we're not going to get a flavor for a lot of the varieties of objects that you can put on a form and how to use them. So I think what I'm going to do is abandon this. It's useful in that if you're going to write an application that needs some kind of logon security, I mean, this could provide you a framework for that. So, but it's I'm I'm going to have to try to create some functionality that would make sense, and I don't think that's where I want to go with this. I want to show the various objects you can put on a form, maybe how to manipulate them and use them, that sort of thing. So I think this pretty much is a dead end as far as an application goes. You could take this and go the next step beyond and start developing windows that do something useful right now. Okay, this is right up to the point where you would start doing that. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to create just a blank, a simple project with just a blank form on it, and then we want to investigate other objects that you can put on the form. So what I want to do here is I want to close this project. Okay. And I'm just going to say, it says it's asking me if I want to save changes, whether I want to discard them or not, do not close the project or save it. And it's all because when this screen is shown, the source editor, it flags this unit as being changed when it has not. In fact, nothing's been changed. And it's some kind of a little bug in the Lazarus integrated development environment. So I'm going to just say discard changes. And now we're going to have a new project. So we would click on this, and it's going to be an application. And here we go. Now we have a new project. Okay? And we can resize this form, make it as big as we want. And now we can use some different objects. Now, we've already played with a menu object, okay? We've seen how that works. We have not done a memo. That's a use. We have done buttons. We have done labels. And we have done edit boxes. We haven't done memos, so we can do that. Here's a toggle button, a toggle box. I've never used one of those. Here's a checkbox, a radio button, and this is a list box. We've used that to display the users, if you'll recall, in the application we were developing. This is a combo box. I've never used one. I've never found a use for it. I'm sure there are. This is a scroll bar. I've never used that. I've always used objects that include scroll bars, horizontal and vertical scroll bars. So I've never had the occasion to need to use one of those. This is a group box. We used that. It produces a panel, a labeled panel, and you can plunk objects on that panel, drag the panel around, and position it on the screen. And of course, you can include a title that indicates probably what the controls in that panel do. This is a radio group box. I don't know if we used one. I think we did, to select whether the user was a supervisor or just an ordinary user. We did do that. This is a check group box. Now, a radio button box, I think each button is mutually exclusive of the other buttons, so you only can pick one radio button. But in a check box, you can check off multiple items in that box. This is just a panel. A panel can be used for various things. I mean, it's labeled, so it has text in it if you want. You can delete that text. You can use a panel like a button. You can give it a color, and you can put a centered piece of text in it, like a label, and it will accept click events. And so you could actually use it like a button. I have in the past. I have not used a frame, and I've never used an action list. I've never had occasion to use any of those. Now, those are all the standard controls. They have additional controls. And here you see another type of button box that has a graphic in it. A speed button, never used it. Static text, I think I've used that before. This is an image. In other words, you can place an image on the screen and you can statically store an image in it, or you could dynamically load images from files and display them in that. A shape, don't know, I've never used it. So I haven't used a lot of these controls because the applications I've written are very data centric. You're entering text into edit boxes. You're making choices. You may be displaying lists of things, that sort of thing. But a lot of these controls, I've just never had the occasion to use them. And I'm sure if you're writing some exotic applications, these things are going to come in very handy. Flow panel, never used it. Mask edit, that's something that they added since I started using, I mean, it's been around probably a long time, but it's something I always wished I had, but didn't have. That lets you if you're entering a number, I think that will allow you to automatically put in a decimal point and embed commas and that sort of thing into numbers like dollar amounts, things like that. This is a string grid. Now, I have used those, and that can be very handy. What that supplies is, well, let's drop one of these. Let's drop this on the form, and I'll show you. This is a string grid. And what it does is it gives you kind of like a spreadsheet. And you can label these columns and rows. And they can be dynamically changed as the program runs. So that's pretty handy. And so, for example, right now, we have 4 columns by 4 rows. Now I can change that. I think I could change it dynamically, and I can do it statically. So we've got it selected. Let's see what it says. Okay, so here's column count. So they're including this label column as a column. So there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make that fill this out. So what if I put 8 columns in there? We'll see how that ends up. 8. Okay. And let's see, what if I want, how many rows do I want? Okay, so it's saying you have a fixed column. You have a fixed column, that's these, and you have a fixed row. In other words, you can label these, but they don't participate in any events. Only these boxes that are have this light white color, these participate in events. So in other words, you can click on them, enter them, type data into them, that sort of thing. And as you can see in the properties here, we have a lot of choices that we can make as to how we want this thing to display. Now, currently the row count, that's this stuff here, these rows that go across, set at 5. Let's change that also. We'll make it 8. Let's just see what happens here. 8. Okay. Well, let's start labeling this. I think I double clicked it, and this is the string grid editor. And now I can size it. So I can make these different sizes, and I can label them. You know, when I clicked in this box, it gives me a label, and so I could say, let's say in this box, I want it to say, well, let's say we're typing in family members, okay? So I could say family member index. Okay, and I could hit enter for that. And now I can make that. Okay. And I can move rows. I can insert and delete. That sort of thing. Can I center that? Can I center that? Don't know. Oh, as long as this is, as long as the string grid editor is being displayed, I can't do anything over here. That's locked me out. So I have to finish doing whatever I'm doing in here. So we could put first name, put last name, could put birth date, okay. We could put gender, boy or girl. What else could we put in there? Something, I don't know. This gives you a flavor for what you can do. Okay, so this labels the columns and allows you to designate what these are going to do. This could just be, well, we could put the first member. The very first member is going to be head of household. We could do that. And then we could just have, oh, we could say dependent pound 1, right? We could do that. So I could do Control C, right? And then I go down here and I can just do Control V. Like that. Okay, and then I can go back in here and I can edit these. So that's dependent 1, that's fine. This is going to be dependent number 2. So I go to the end and backspace and click 2. And so on. You can edit each of these, right? Like that. Yeah, so we're going to allow, now we're statically doing this. We're allowing up to 6 members, is it? Yeah, it's going to be 6 members. So just changing these labels on the rows. Okay, and that's going to be 6. 6 besides the head of household. That's a family up to 7. Now I think if I want to, I can change these numbers on the fly as the program runs, and this thing will extend, right? That's what I think will happen. So we'll save that and see what that looks like. No, I don't want to save that. What am I doing? Okay, I don't want to save that. I'm just going to say okay. There we go. So there's our string grid. Now, can I do some kind of centering? I don't know if I can do that. Columns. 0 items. That's interesting, huh? What's constraints do? Oh, height and width, that sort of thing. Click sorts. Oh, so I guess you can sort them. That's interesting. Autofill columns, that's false right now. I don't know how you would basically use that. Okay. Well, let's run this and see what happens. Okay. Oh, right. Oh, and it starts with this first row and column highlighted. Now, if I type something in, I could put in Sally. No. Okay, it's not letting me type anything in there. I'm typing Sally, nothing happened. I go over to last name. Can I put something in there? Monroe. No, it's not letting me type anything in. Okay, now why is that? Let's take a look. Okay. We have a default column width. It's 64. And we have a default row height of 24. Those are pixels. It's enabled. It has extended select. That's checked. What are these options for? Go always show editor. Okay, I guess that allows these functionalities. Go editing. So I guess it's not, these aren't set. Maybe that's what I need to do. Fixed column sizing is false. So does that mean I can actually, no, I don't think I can. That's not letting me do that. It's not letting me size the columns. Oh, that's because that's not set. Oh, let's set some things and see if we get always show editor. I'll say yes. That's true. And editing, I'll set that to true. It says I can select a range. Okay, well, I've changed a few things. Let's see if I run that. Let's save what I changed. Well, let's kill this. Let's kill this. And let's save our change. Oh, we haven't named our project. Well, it's project 1. That's fine. Let's just save it as project 1. And we'll save the unit as unit 1. Okay. You see there's a scroll bar here? There's a scroll bar. Okay. And we saved those changes. So now let's rerun this and see if that... No. What's that coming up for? It's not. What on earth is it doing? It's compiling our other project. Is that what it's doing? Yeah, it's compiling our other project. Why is it doing that? Oh. You know, I wonder... my application LPI is in the same... I'm using the YouTube code directory, and our other application is in there. And I'm wondering if that... It's odd because the first time I clicked run, it did compile and run this new project. But now it's not. It's doing this old one. Isn't that something? So maybe I have to delete this one? Would that do it? Let's take a look here. Well, here's the project inspector, and these are the files. So it knows the files for this project. Huh. I think that's a bug. That's what I think. I think we have found a bug, because I don't think it should be compiling and running our other project. It doesn't make sense. See, it's running my old project. Let's bring up YouTube code. And excuse me. I happened to catch a cold while I was out of country, and it was a doozy. I ended up going to the hospital. Okay. Here's the compiled project. Let's take a look at the properties. 9:58 right now. So that was compiled, yeah, just 4 minutes ago. 4 minutes ago. So that's the project that was compiled. Can I run it? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It compiled the other application and named it Project 1. That's a bug. That's a bug. This is a problem. Well, if there's anybody on the Lazarus team who stumbles onto this, you guys got a problem. And my application is really tiny. When was that created? Back in January. Oh, let's take a look at this one. This is the executable that was created with Windows when I ported all the source files over to Windows, and then I compiled it and ran it there. So because that's got the exe extension on it. You see that? This is my application on the Linux version. So let's take a look at that. See, that was compiled also back in January. We're in March, the 4th of March today. So that has not been recompiled today. The project today is 27.7 megabytes. Okay, that did get compiled today. If I look at properties, that's the 4th of March today. Okay. And it is the, excuse me, please. Yeah, it's compiling the wrong code. So this is a bug. I mean, I should be able to have two applications in the same directory, shouldn't I? Why would that be a problem? Okay. What if I move Project 1 to its own directory? Let's give this a shot. Let's try that. So I'm going back into files here. Now I'm going to go into our Lazarus thing. And I am going to create a new, I want to create a new, I want to add a new folder. And I'm going to call this new folder Project 1. Okay. Now I'm going to, now I'm going into the YouTube code. And I'm going to pick the stuff for Project 1. Not the program. Okay, so we've got the project icon. We've got the project file. I'm using the control key now to select these. LPR, LPS, resources. I think that's all I need. What about Unit 1? I need Unit 1, the form, and the Pascal code. I think that's all I need. So I'm going to cut those. Okay. And then I'm going to the Project 1 folder. Where did I put that folder? Here's Project 1 folder. And I'm going to copy that stuff into here. Like that. Now, it's saying, okay, some files have changed on the disk. Click on one of the above items to see the difference. So I'm just going to close this. All right. And I'm going to what am I going to do here? I'm going to open a project. Okay. And it's going to be project in Project 1. This project, open. Yes. Okay. Now let's try running it. It says I can't find Unit 1. And maybe that's because the project options okay. Let's say project inspector. Well, that's interesting. Okay. It says I can't find Unit 1 used by Project 1. What if we scratch all this? What if we scratch all of this and start over with a new, let's close this. Yeah. And let's scratch everything and start over. Okay. Fire up Lazarus. And we're going to do a new project. It's going to be an application. And we're going to save it. In Project 1. Okay. And then we're gonna do like we were doing there. We're gonna find we're gonna get a string grid. going to plunk it on here. And we're going to stretch it out. And we're going to have column count of 8 and a row count of 8, I think it was. I'm going to PQR row count. All right, that's going to be 8. We'll go double click this. And we're going to provide some, so we're just going to say this is, would help if I could spell column 1. And we'll just say this is column 2. And this is going to be column 3. It's going to be column 4. And well, I'll just do column 5. And this is row 1. This is row 2. And this is row 3. That's enough. Okay. And we can size these, right? Do this, put some sizes here, right? There. Okay. And then we had to set some properties, didn't we, to allow it to be edited. So we have options. What are the options here? Show the editors true and go editing. And this thing is enabled, isn't it? It's enabled. Enabled is true. So we're good. So let's save these changes, right? Because units changed, so we want to save it. Okay. Let's try running this. Choose debug format. And it's pre-selected this. I could say run with no debugger. Running your application with a debugger. This choice can be changed later by going changed in project options, compiler options, debugging. Okay. Ah. Is it unit 1? Is it something simple like that? Oh my God. It's case sensitive. That's odd. And we should be able to enter stuff. Sally, tab. Oh, tab doesn't work. What if I hit enter? Ah. Okay. Enter progresses to the next column. Okay, you can see how this works. when I hit tab, okay, if I put the cursor back at M in front of the M here, okay, the cursor's in front of the M. I don't know if you can see that. But if I hit tab, oh, it doesn't do it now. It's going to call me a liar. Okay. I thought it put it at the end. What if I do shift tab? Okay, it doesn't move back. Interesting. If I hit enter, it moves to the next column. Interesting. Okay. Okay, the scroll bar on the bottom there lets me scroll through this because there's not enough room, and I didn't allow for column width adjustment. So what if I keep hitting enter? Does it wrap to the next row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Does not wrap to the next row when you get to the end. I actually have to click on the next column. Okay. All right. Well, that's how a string grid works. Not real intuitive, is it? I mean, you would think that it would wrap, that when you get to the last, you're in the last column and you hit enter, you would think that should move you to the next row and column, first column. It does not. And to get it to do that, you got to do some work. You have to start testing events. You have to start writing code to make it work that way. And I don't think, okay, now we're done testing it. Let's try running it again. Okay. So it is working. And that other problem I had was probably because unit wasn't capitalized. That is something. The name unit was not capitalized in the code. Can you believe that? Right here. Right there, it had a lowercase u. So it wasn't lying. I mean, it was telling me I can't find unit. So I guess when a file, so that would make sense, I guess. While source code is case insensitive, names of files obviously are case sensitive. So for example, down here, I can say, right? And it's not going to have any problems with that. Not at all. Right? Make this, right? That should have no problem with that. If I save that and I run it, oh, it's not. Oh, I have to stop. It was still in debug mode. Now, if I run this, No problem. Case insensitive, doesn't care. But if it's a file name being referenced, obviously that's case sensitive. So learn something every day. Well, this has gone on and on and on, longer than it should. So I am going to call it quits, and we'll maybe pick this up. Maybe the next time we will make some modifications. We will go into events for the string grid, right? Let's close this, and let's bring that. Let's bring this. Yes, this is selected. So what we will do, we will explore events in this string grid and make it operate a little differently. And we will will allow the program to retrieve the data that's being typed in, that sort of thing, and make it work a little differently. Do they have a property with uppercase? So I wonder if, what are the constraints? That's strictly dimensions. Cell hint priority. Okay, I'm just looking to see if I could tell it to auto capitalize entries. Options. Column moving, spanning, editing. Okay, I don't think that's it. What's options 2? Parent color, parent font. So in other words, whatever the colors and fonts are for the main form, they will automatically be inherited by the string grid. I think that's what that means. And currently it does not inherit. They're all false. I guess I'm going to break for now. Hey guys, have a great day. I got to answer a phone call.